Hey everybody, welcome back to another painting tutorial. Today it's time for the DEHAVILLAND Mosquitoes, the old wooden wonder. This is the second tutorial of the new wave, so I hope you enjoy this and I hope it helps. The first step, as always, is to put a quick primer down, and for that I used grey. The paints that I'll primarily be using in this tutorial are the Hataka paint set I showed you in the Hurricane video. And the first paint from that set you want to get is medium sea grey, and that you want to do on all the lower surfaces of the plane. So obviously the underside of the wings, engines, and the sort of main fuselage. In hindsight, I probably should have picked a different colour primer. I didn't really realise at the time. Just grab them sort of go-to primer and put grey down. So black might have been a good choice, at least then you definitely know where you've been painting. But as soon as you've applied that coat to the underside of your model, it's ready to move on to the next step. The next paint you want to get is Ocean Grey, and this one you want to apply to now the top side of your model. And basically it's like a perfect line straight down the middle between top and bottom. You'll see some pictures in a minute what I mean, but it's just do the entire top sides, basically do all over, and keep the sort of the nose cone and the spinners the same colour as well. But once that's been applied, it's ready to move on to the next step. As you can see by the photos now, you can see the line between the two areas, which are the different greys. Basically carry that line all the way across the plane, so divide the top and the bottom. So that's the result you're looking for. So once you've achieved that result, we're ready to move on to the next step. The next paint is dark green, and for that now you want to use to apply your sort of camo pattern on the top. Again, I did find a reference photo online and I copied that. It's always good to have one with you. The best thing to do obviously is draw the outline. When you're happy with the shape, just fill the insides in with your with the rest of the colour. I don't again know if there probably was specific camo patterns, but again, as long as you're happy with it and it's it's evenly covered and spaced out, it's ready to move on to the next step. For the dark green, I did apply two coats of the colour, and as you can see by the video now, you cut the camo lines basically straight down the middle between the two greys, and carry it around to the edge of the wings. But once the two coats are dried and you're happy with how it looks, it's ready to move on to the canopy. It's now time to do your canopy, and for that I used my go-to colour, which is Griffon Blue from Army Painter. The modelling in this, it's more like a plastic kit, so the model lines on the canopy are a bit more defined, so you can sort of do it in one go if you're careful. I did go over on a few, so I did touch up after, but once you're happy with the colour and you're happy with the coverage of the coat, it's ready to just touch up them lines with the sort of corresponding colours, your greens and your greys, and then it's ready to move on to the next step. The last paint you want to grab is Necromancer Cloak from Army Painter, and that paint you want to apply to the weapons on the front, the exhausts on both engines, and there's a wheel on the back. So once they're all painted in Necromancer Cloak, that's all the painting done, and it's ready to apply your decals. So I've gone ahead and put my decals on the model. I did use the Spitfire decals because the ones from Misk Mini didn't arrive in time. So I just used these just to show you sort of what it will look like with your decals in their position. Once the decals have been applied, I put an anti-shine varnish over the top just to blend them in a little bit. But now it's time to move on to the washes. Final step now is to put a quick wash on your model, and for that I used Army Painter's Dark Tone and its QUICKSHADE Mixing Medium. I mixed it 70-30, sort of in favour of the mixing medium, so it was quite a weak wash. But however, I did put 2 coats on in the end, so you could always make it a little bit stronger on the first time. But I thought, you know, just put 1 coat down, see what it dries like. But I did, like I say, put a second one down. And I would recommend, if you are going to do this kind of wash, get yourself the thickest and biggest brush you can to apply it, because it's quite a big model now, the Mosquitoes. You don't want to leave too many streak marks in it. So yeah, apply this top and bottom once it's dry. That's the tutorial finished and your model's complete. Well, that's the tutorial finished, so I hope you enjoyed that and I hope it helps. It's a good model. The panel lines are really nice and the wash is, you know, sort of stuck in there quite nicely. But if you've got any questions or, you know, queries about how I did it, just drop me a message and I'll get back to you. The Hataka paint set I used was great for this and the Hurricanes. So if you do see them about, pick them up, because they've got a great selection of different sort of aircraft, tanks, you know, all sorts of different stuff. I think Rich is quite excited about this because he will be using these planes at some point to take on Jack's sort of ominous horde of yaks. So, you know, subscribe or stay subscribed to see that. But as always, if you like the video, like it. If you like the channel, subscribe.